and welcome back to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm Kay Williams, author of op-dec Operation Deceit, the Trilogia trilogy, and Blue Honor, the Civil War drama for which my site and my vlog are named. I like to, by the way, still working on that. Today I wanted to talk about, it is June. Happy birthday to me. And I wanted to chat a little bit about the post that I made back in 2016 in December. So this was what TV shows from your childhood would you bring back and why? So there's numerous shows that I watched growing up. My favorite show of all time is from my childhood, and that is MASH. Couldn't see that coming with the military fiction writing and the screenwriting, right? Well, and to add to that, my dad is a veteran with the U.S. Army National Guard, and he served in a medical company as a medic, and then he served with them in the motor pool section as mechanic and stuff, and organizing the motor pool. So, of course, MASH, Alan Alda and the gang just remind me of the stories he would tell, etc., of when he'd be away at camp, of basic training and all of that. I am grateful that my dad didn't have to go overseas because I might not be here. That was the Vietnam era. It was bad times. We almost lost my uncle. He did go missing for a time. He was in a helicopter. He was a gunner in a helicopter, and he was shot down and severely injured. But they did find him finally, but not before telling his family that he was gone. I can't even imagine. I cry at the drop of a hat with any of these stories. Very quick to tears with that. I was watching Unsolved Mysteries, and they had a segment where some World War II letters were found that had never actually made it to the families they were intended to go to, and there was a widow who had never remarried after losing her husband, who was a turret gunner and a bomber, B-17, my favorite. In 1944 in Austria, and my heart went out to her. She was so beautiful. She looked like Veronica Lake, and he was so handsome. And I'm just like, this beautiful people, and of course I'm sure she's not with us anymore. She was very elderly then. Talking about the letter. So war is horseshit. And other than World War II, often we are just sent to clear markets for the rich. So eat the rich. And we're fighting rich men's wars. Enough is enough. I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want anybody's children to be bombed. Figure it out. We're in 2025. There's no call for this, but MASH, I don't know if you could bring that back. It was about the Korean War, which was a police action, of course, which started our devastating tour of useless wars from there forward, where we just continually get our butts handed to us. And the spin machine will spin that however, and red hats will, of course, I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. I don't want our young men and women dying overseas so that rich men can sell their stuff or use cheap labor or whatever it is that they're after, because it never is about the peace and democracy, because look at what's happening here. 1A is just about dead. Taping this in April. Nobody's doing anything. Marches are not not as effective as we would like them to be. And sadly, we are, excuse me, we are caught in the middle of, if we act with more energy, they will arrest us and send us to Venezuela now. American citizens. And if red hats think that they're exempt from that, how many FAFOs do you need? I always knew that it was going to be you guys that voted away all of our freedoms and destroyed this country. So, cheers to you for fulfilling that, which I saw coming a million miles away, because it was always about you could do whatever you wanted and everybody else be damned. You criticize everyone else for what they're trying to do to try and make this country a better place. But if you can't be in control, if you can't make others hurt, because cruelty is the point, and you operate as a domestic abuser, if you can't be in control and you haven't got two brain cells to rub together to be in control, I don't know that MASH could be brought back anyway. 12 seasons, it was amazing. I don't think there's anything better. I think it was awesome. Taxi, which I would watch in syndication with my dad. Good times, All in the Family. Oh, there's so much. I really don't think too much about the 90s shows. There is a cartoon that I absolutely adore, and that was Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is sublime. And I don't have to say, bring it back. They did, it was about 5 years prior to writing the article, they did bring back and did a series, and it was wonderful. Natalie, what was the name of that show? I can't remember, with Joe and the girls and stuff in the school. She did Velma's voice. And there's another girl that does the voice. The character's Hot Dog Water, they call her. And she does the voice often for Velma as well. And I thought that was hilarious that they brought her in as Hot Dog Water. You'll hear her on PBS a lot. In Nature Cat, she is the bunny. So, love her. She is a fantastic voice actor. Gosh, I wish I could do voice acting, like for cartoons and stuff. That would be fun. But it's a lot of work and a lot of training, and I don't have connections either. So I don't know, at 50, changing that career path, if that would be good. I don't know. I guess I would have to start doing it online just myself. And I often think about that with making Zoe. So Sanford and Son is another show that I absolutely loved. The Jeffersons, all of these, but they're so, zeitgeist, basically. They're in their time, and they are wonderful parts of their time. Although, like Family Ties, they tackled a lot of topics that we're struggling with now. I can't believe, 50 years later, we're still having the same discussions, still having the same battles, because people can't stop being racist. They can't stop being sexist. It all goes back to what I was saying earlier about cruelty is the point. These people really get off on power and control. And if you look at the domestic violence power and control wheel, you'll see a lot of similarities between how these right-wing people behave toward everyone else and even each other. I mean, they have no value even amongst each other. They would sell each other out in a heartbeat, I mean, they're billionaire lollipops. that's all that they're trying to do is get up their ass, and get $1 million check. They're not going to pick you, boo-boo. You're just a tool. It's almost as if you never paid attention in history class, which I know you didn't. I know you didn't, because I went to school with a bunch of you, and you thought that school was bullshit. And we see that with the dismantling of the education department and schools all across the nation. You devalue education. You said there's work is the only thing. Work, 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 work. You weren't put on this planet to just work. You weren't put on this planet to just pop out babies. What, are you a fucking insect? Are you an ant? I mean, oh my God. Honestly. I don't know. I think we need to bring back shows that, talk about labor and how important that is, and how unfairly treated workers are. How they're underpaid, exploited, but expected to accept that. And then these management professionals that get in there, you're going to like it, your nose to the grindstone. And the devaluation of education. Education is your ticket to a better life. I do not understand. You should treasure expanding your mind. I don't know why I have to say this. It is incredible. It's beyond me. It's like you just don't think. I don't know. But it would be great if we could develop a show that really tackled and discussed these sorts of things. I mean, I never got to watch House, but I know that he would always press people, because I would see clips and stuff of him, just socking back at people. And more of that. That hospital show my friend Kevin Craig West was on. So proud of you, Kevin. Exposing the disparity for Black women in the medical area for coverage and care in pregnancy, and the death rates and the child loss. Are we not in 2025? Why? Why is it that women who want to have children are dying? There's no excuse for that. And then they want to cover up the birth rates. And then they don't want us to vaccinate our children, so they don't want them to even survive into adulthood. And if they do, they could be dealing with medical conditions that are going to bankrupt their families and make them struggle for no reason. Preventable diseases. And these people that believe these conspiracy theories, like, if you were educated, truly educated, would you fall for this shit? Where is this even coming from? The anti-intellectualism is a hallmark of fascism, because they need you to believe them and distrust all of the information warning you. Even the Nazis shut down intellectuals. Yes, they did. They did not. I mean, people sit there and go, oh, they were socialists. They were not socialists. Just because you call yourself something doesn't mean that you're actually that something. They were fascist. Deeply fascist. It was the elites in control of the state and corporations, not the workers. Not the workers. Savvy? And I don't understand why people, keep shitting all over socialism and communism. I understand extremism of any kind, I agree with you. Extremism of any kind is not healthy. It's not good. But why wouldn't you want a better stake in the work that you do? More income. Your time is your commodity to barter, and you won't even barter it. And then cursing out China all the time. I'm over here cracking up. I'm like going, do you see what they have accomplished in a very short period of time, because their government believes in the people and that people should come first. The citizens come first. And when the citizens are doing well, China does well. Used to be a time in the United States where politicians felt that way about their people. Now all they care about is lining the pockets of CEOs who already have too much to begin with. This has never worked. It has never worked. Could we please refer to a history book? It has never worked. It never trickles down. That's the Ponzi scheme, not Social Security. Social Security is your savings account, by the way. It's like an annuity for your old age. So you have something, because like it or not, life happens and you may not be able to save enough for retirement. But hey, who the fuck am I? Other than somebody who, studied history and has watched this in real time as well. I'm so tired of the cockatoos and jack socks out there caping for rich people. We need a show that just does something to discuss this. And it's like too little too late now, because you can't get that ball rolling. You'd have to film it, write it, all of that. It would take a couple of years to get even one pilot done. But those were my favorite shows. And they always preached being the best human being you can be. And that power and control, that's an illusion. And it'll slip through your fingers. And other people with more power and more control will crush you and make you disappear. You'll never be one of them, because they already have those seats. And cutting others out of their slice, the selfishness is not good. Individualism leads to this mania. It's a mania. I worked hard and built this. Yeah, well, you didn't do it alone, pumpkin. No one does anything alone, because there's a supply chain that you have to utilize in everything. You're not out here creating these things with your bare hands right and left. That's been outsourced for several decades in the United States. So, you're not self-made. Self-made. Anyway, click subscribe. Be back here next month. I'm going to talk about letters to my readers. So I wrote one back in 2017. And I also wrote one this year, at the beginning of the year. And I kind of want to compare the differences between those two letters, see where I'm at. Let me see, almost 10 years. So I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching.